money on the table. But we cannot forget, we can never forget what's happening to the natural world in which we live. It's important that we make a stand every single day to make this world a better place for both people and animals. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah!
Now it's 7 years since Cecil the lion was killed in Hwange National Park in Zimbabwe. I remember that day very well, doing back-to-back interviews on television. An audience around the world that suddenly was shocked and horrified to learn that if you have enough money in your pocket, there's not one wild animal in this world that you can't kill with a bow or a gun. Do you think that's acceptable? It wasn't acceptable 7 years ago. It's definitely not bloody acceptable now. We should have ended trophy hunting in Britain, around the world. We should end the export of trophies to this country and into Europe and into America. Would you agree?
Yeah!
But I'm afraid the politicians have dithered. The lobby groups have gone to work. The lies of the trophy hunting movement that say this is about conservation, about supporting local communities. What a load of utter manure, would you agree?
Yes!
The only people that largely benefit from trophy hunting are the corrupt governments that allow it to happen, the people that organise it like Safari Club International, that claim they're conservationists, but they're nothing more than a club for elite wildlife killers, wouldn't you agree?
Yes!
And local communities don't get this money. It doesn't trickle down to help them. These people come in, they kill the animals, and they go, and they leave nothing behind them but destruction, cruelty and suffering. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes!
Now around this industry, a whole new farming business has been developed in South Africa. Hundreds of farms breeding a conveyor belt of cruelty when it comes to lion cubs that are bred for the bullet in the most disgusting, horrible way. And there is no reason on earth why that industry should be allowed to continue. Would you agree?
Yes!
But it's indicative, I'm afraid, of the cruelty, exploitation and greed that is at the heart of the trophy hunting business. And that's why it annoys me so much that this government, that we're so used to all the lies and the incompetence, but when they had a chance to do something right, to bring a ban on trophies coming into this country, they've dithered and delayed, and they've not met their commitments. Wouldn't you agree that's a disgrace?
Yes!
Now we have one Conservative MP, Henry Smith, for Crawley. Now all credit to him. A private member's bill that is now going through the House of Commons. The government have indicated they'll give it support, but we've still got a long way to go to make this law, and we're running out of time in this Parliament. It's now going for its third reading in the House of Commons, and then it goes on to the House of Lords. And you know, in the House of Lords, the Safari Club International, their lackeys, will be at work with Tory peers, trying to get them to amend that bill, to water it down. And you've got to stop it, would you agree?
Yes!
You've got to get to your MPs and tell them that the bill must stand as it's written now, that this must stop all the imports of wild animal trophies. There are no clauses in the bill to allow continual killing for so-called conservation areas of Africa and other parts of the world. Will you agree?
Yes!
We want the most comprehensive ban on imports of wild animal trophies anywhere in the world in this country. We want it within the next 12 months before an election. We deserve it. Cecil the lion deserves it. The wildlife of Africa and around the world deserves it. And we must bring this rotten, cruel business to an end. Would you agree?
Yes!
As I said in the House of Commons the other day to MPs and wildlife conservation groups and others, it's a good thing that we see MPs jumping up and down talking about wild animal trophies not being imported from Africa, but what about our wildlife here at home? Because that's being decimated and that's being cruelly persecuted, and I'm afraid many of the people that are jumping up and down in Parliament calling for a ban on wild animal trophies are doing nothing to protect our wildlife at home. Would you agree?
Yes!
You know, I was born in 1970, ladies and gentlemen, exactly a year since Neil Armstrong stepped on the moon in 1969. A moment in history that changed the Earth, where we saw those beautiful images from space of this planet that we all call home. And the modern environment movement began to realise we needed to step up to protect this precious world. And all these years later, we have made such a tragic mess of this planet. When I was born, In 1970, there were 2.7 billion people on planet Earth. There are now over 8 billion people on planet Earth. We need to feed more in the next 50 years than the last 10,000 years combined. We have decimated the world's wildlife. We've decimated the world's habitats and biodiversity to such a point that nearly 50% of species have declined in my lifetime. And if you want to look at this great green and pleasant land of Britain, we are now one of the most nature depleted countries on Earth. Do any of you think that's acceptable? But at the same time of all this destruction, we have our fox hunters running across the countryside with their hounds, chasing down foxes, chasing down hares, crossing roads, causing chaos, cruelty, and endangering the public because this government will not enforce the Hunting Act. Is that acceptable to you? It's a disgrace. We have people like Jeremy Clarkson going on television saying that badgers are cruel bastard animals and they should be killed. Well, I'll tell you this government have killed 200,000 badgers. They spent £100 million of your bloody money on it, and it's actually achieved absolutely nothing. So Jeremy Clarkson, you're the cruel bastard, not the badgers. Leave them alone. What do you agree? Wherever we see wildlife destruction, be it in Africa or be it in England, we must stand up and we must say enough is enough. Would you agree?
Yes.
We are a generation, ladies and gentlemen, that have it in our hands to destroy this world or protect it for future generations. And I know what side of the debate I'm going to be on. You as well. Every single day we must reach out to people in cities like Birmingham and Manchester and London and Liverpool and around the world. We must tell people to wake up, to think about this precious planet we all call home, because we all bloody rely on it to survive. And we must protect the wildlife and the biodiversity, and we must not allow our ignorance, our greed, our stupidity to destroy this precious planet. Because you know what? It doesn't matter how much money you've got, there's no other place to go. We're all stuck here, and we're going to have to make it work. Would you agree?
Yes.
We're 12 months away from a general election, ladies and gentlemen. And it doesn't matter what your politics are, you make sure you get out and vote. And you make sure that every candidate that you talk to thinks about animal issues, thinks about the environment, thinks about wildlife protection, and makes a stand and commits to do something about it. Because unless we have politicians in Westminster and the Scottish Parliament and the Welsh Assembly and the Northern Ireland Assembly that care about this stuff, the situation in my lifetime will continue to get worse. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
So you're empowered, you're angry, you're going to do something about it. And that's why you're here today. That's why we're going to march through this city with our banners held high, with our voices for everyone to hear, that we are not going to remain silent. We're going to be the generation that made a difference. We're going to stop the cruelty. We're going to value the planet we live on. And we're going to make it a better place for people and animals. Thank you very much.